What comes in your mind when someone mentions tomato farming? For majority, it's that a season that they planted and lost every coin, either due to diseases or they made it through to harvesting, got the best yield, only to find prices in the floor, and ended up feeding their produce to cows, pigs, and even goats. But for others who have known and mastered the secret, it is the super crop. It's that crop that brought them their first car, their first pickup, the first plot, and even give them the first million. So, how do they manage? Now, this is what all this video is all about. A detailed step-by-step guide on how and when to grow tomatoes successfully and profitably. In this video, we shall cover the best timing to plant tomatoes and never miss the best market prices, the best tomato varieties to plant in Kenya, that is the most sought after by buyers, and resist most diseases, making the cost cheaper compared to other farmers. The best months to plant tomatoes in Kenya, and mind you, it's not January, August, or even December. How to raise your own tomato seedlings, how to transplant them, the best fertilizers, and when to apply them for big sized tomatoes. And finally, diseases and pests that have destroyed most farms and how to identify and control them. By the end of this video, you will have mastered tomato farming and being wise enough to know when to plant and even how to plant. My name is Kelvin Oedimo, an agricultural consultant at Farmers Kenya. In the last 8 years, we focused on helping farmers make money out of their farming by providing realistic solutions to their daily farming challenges. Now, if you're a farmer out there and you have a particular challenge that you're facing in your farming, kindly drop that on the comment section. We tend to reply all. Now, with that, let's get into it. Before doing anything else on tomato farm, first study the market to establish when the supply is highest. This is often when prices are low and farmers tend to complain and end up making a lot of losses. This is often the best time to plant your tomatoes. Yes, the best time to plant when farmers are making losses and prices are lowest. Planting at these times gives you an edge over most farmers simply because you will be harvesting 3 months later, and at that time, prices are often high due to scarce supply. This is what should lead your production decision, the prevailing market prices. Your farm must also have a well-drained, fertile loam or sandy loam soil. You see, there is something that you have to consider when it comes to land selection: the history of the farm and what crops were planted there previously. Most farmers tend to miss this. This is the key because of bacterial diseases, which has a tendency to destroy crops almost in totality. Tomatoes, capsicums, a potato, and black nightshade are the most affected crops. When venturing in tomato farming, always consider varieties with high tolerance to black rot if at all you want to make some money in it. Have access to permanent irrigation water. Drip irrigation is more preferable, but, well, quite expensive, especially due to installation cost. Flooding or furrow irrigation used by many tends to work. When doing overhead irrigation, kindly avoid late evening irrigation to avoid spreading the fungal diseases, which we shall cover later on this video. You cannot tend to rely on rainfall alone, as it is not reliable. Finally, make sure you have capital for all the inputs. Tomatoes, they are heavy feeders and require intensive supplementation for high yields and control of pests and diseases. Now, let's start with the best varieties to grow in Kenya. There are two types of varieties. We have the hybrid or and the open pollinated variety. Big Lock F1, Aso F1, Terminator F1 are among the best hybrid tomato varieties to plant in Kenya in 2026. Rio Grande and Kalijay are the other alternative OPV varieties. Big Lock F1. This is an excellent hybrid tall determinate tomato variety with an excellent after harvest shelf life of 21 days. It is loved for its high yield of 30 tons per acre and a good management, with a maturity of 75 to around 90 days from the day of transplanting. It has good resistant to tomato yellow leaf curl virus, Answer of one. It is a hybrid tomato variety with elongated square round tomato fruit. It is an early maturing variety, 75 to 90 days, with a good yield of above 28 tons per acre under good management. It does well even in warm areas. It also has good resistance against TYLCV. The other one is a Terminator F1. It is a semi-determinate hybrid with strong resistance to TYLCV and TMV. It has good maturity of 70 days after transplanting and can yield above 30 tons per acre under good management. It is large for its long after harvest shelf life of 21 days. Harmony of one. Now, this is a hybrid tomato variety with oval-shaped farm fruits. It has a maturity of 70 to 75 days and yield of over 30 tons per acre under good management. Layer 703 F1. This is a hybrid tomato variety with oval-shaped fruits and a maturity of 75 days from a transplanting. It can produce 5 to 6 large uniform fruits per cluster and has a harvest duration of 5 to 6 months. It has a good resistance to tomato Physidium wilt, tomato yellow leaf curl virus, and the tomato spotted wilt virus, the Verticillium wilt, the bacteria spect, and even the nematodes. Let's now focus on the best months to plant tomatoes in Kenya. The best months to plant, or in this case to transplant tomatoes in Kenya and enjoy the best prices ever, are when the market is funded with prices or when the prices are at their lowest. March, April, and May are the best months to plant or transplant tomatoes in Kenya. Now, despite there being the heavy rainfall during this month and higher prevalence of fungal diseases, they still remain the most ideal time to plant simply because production at this time is lowest, pushing prices high 3 months later from this period. With that, how then do you raise your tomato seedling? There are two options. You can opt to buy your laced seedlings or raise your own. Raise your own is cheaper compared to buying. Normally, an acre needs about 10,000 seeds when planted at a spacing of 60 centimeters by 60 centimeters. This costs between 31,000 to 40,000 Kenya shillings for seeds, while seedlings goes for about 50 to 60,000 Kenya shillings. Make a raised seedbed measuring 1 meter by length of trace. Sow your seeds sparingly in a shallow drill. Cover with loose soils and water. You can cover with dry grass or paper to hasten their germination. Normally, tomato seeds tend to take 4 to 6 days to germinate and 4 to 6 weeks to develop 5 true leaves ready for the germination. At the seedbed, spray Easy Grow starter or the optimizer to hasten growth. Apply a little Ridomil Gold 25 grams per 20 liter water to prevent blight and downy mildew after transplanting. How then do you plant or transplant your tomatoes in Kenya? Make planting holes at a spacing of 60 by 60 centimeters. Add 1 2 kg tin of decomposed manure and water. Transplant your seedlings and water again. At this point, make sure you drench with Thunder insecticide mixed with Optimizer or Easy Grow starter to kill any cutworms and hasten the establishment of new roots. Moderate irrigation at this point is also required for optimal growth. With that, let's focus on best fertilizers for tomatoes. DAP, NPK, and CAN are the best tomato fertilizers applied on the 14th, 30th, and 55th day after transplanting, respectively. DAP fertilizer contains high nitrogen and phosphorus. Nitrogen is the one that helps in shoot growth, while phosphorus enhances the root development. Unlike what most farmers do, that is applying DAP during transplanting, it should be applied 14 days after transplanting. This is when the roots have developed well for the best results of absorbing the nutrients. Apply at least 50 to 100 kilograms per acre. To enhance growth and the onset of flowering, it is also recommended to apply NPK 70 fertilizer. It has a uniform blend of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium that enhances uniform growth. Potassium aids in flower initiation and also the ripening of fruit. Apply 50 to 100 kilograms per acre. At this stage, you can apply easy grow vegetative or Wuxo macro mix for your feed at the rate of 50 ml per 20 liters of water every 2 weeks to boost the growth. 45 days after transplanting, the plants have usually started flowering and forming fruit, given that their maturity is 70 days. Now, at this point, it is recommended to apply calcium ammonium nitrate fertilizer, the CAN, which contains calcium, and this will help in preventing disorders such as blossom end rot and cracking. Actually, CAN in general, it helps in maintaining good fruit firmness and the quality of it. To hasten the ripening, you can opt to mix NPK 17 with CAN fertilizer at the ratio of 1:1. Also apply max growth zinc and boron for your feed to prevent fruit and flower abortion. These can be supplemented with high calcium foliar feeds to enrich calcium and prevent blossom end rot. With that, let's focus on the diseases early and late blight. These are the most common fungal diseases. Late blight in tomatoes, green plants on leaves and brown lesions on the stems with white fungal growth developing under the moist conditions. It spreads fast in cool, wet, and weather conditions. On the other side, early blight tends to occur on the foliage, stem, and fruit of the tomato plants. It first appears as small brown black lesions on the old foliage. Now, the tissue surrounding the initial lesions may become yellow, and when lesions are numerous, entire leaves may become clotted. As the lesions enlarge, they often tend to develop concentric rings, giving them a bulb's eye, or a target spot appearance. Now, as the disease progresses, plants can become defoliated, reducing both the fruit quantity and also quality. Fruit can become infected either in the green or life stage through the stem attachment. The fruit lesions can also become quite large, involve the whole flat fruit, and have characteristic concentric rings. Actually, this is one of the worst diseases. Infected fruits often drops and losses of 30 to 50% of the immature fruit may occur. The two diseases are the most destructive in farming. Actually, they're often referred to ugonjwa za baridi. To be safe, preventive spraying is the most recommended approach. Once infected, controlling it becomes kinda expensive or impossible. Apply fungicides such as the Lidomil Gold, Hetol 720 WP, and also Mr. 72 WP early from the third week of transplanting to harvesting at the intervals of 7 to 14 days, depending on the weather intensity. That is how cold, cool, or wet it is. The other worst disease is bacterial wilt. The initial symptom is the wilting of the young leaves during the heat of the day, with recovery overnight. If conditions are favorable, symptoms quickly progress in general wilting, a yellow wing, and eventually complete plant collapse. Splitting the affected stems, you cut it into two lengthwise, may reveal a long, narrow yellow to brown streaks in the vesicular tissue. Now, a milky white ooze may exude from the affected stems. The streams of bacteria may flow out of the cut stems suspended in the water. That is what we usually call the bacterial streaming. The bacteria are both soil-borne and waterborne. They can survive in the soil, on the roots of non-host plants, and in the infected windrows, and also in the infested plant debris. The pathogen is disseminated in infested soil, on equipment, stakes, and even workers' clothing. It can also be carried in land of water. Seed transmission is not thought to be important of this disease. However, the pathogen can be brought in on infected transplants. Bacterial wilt is difficult to manage once the pathogen has been introduced into the field because the pathogen can persist in the soil for many years. Therefore, the first priority is to prevent the introduction of the pathogen if it is not present yet. This requires the use of pathogen-free transplants, irrigation only with non-infested water source, and clean stakes and equipment. The other disease is septoria leaf spot. This is one of the most destructive diseases of the tomato foliage. This disease can destroy most of plant foliage, resulting in sun scalp. failure of the fruit to mature properly, and also the low yields. Once infections begin, they can spread rapidly from lower to the upper tomato canopy. Symptoms consist of a circular tan to gray lesions with a dark brown margin that appear on the lower leaves first at the first fruit set, of course. Now, if conditions are favorable, lesions can enlarge rapidly. To prevent it, you can apply scale fungicide early before infestation. Let's focus now on the tomato pest. And on top of the list, we have the worst one, tomato tuta absoluta. It is the most destructive insect pest in tomato farming. Infestation of tomato plants occurs throughout the entire crop cycle, and feeding damage is caused by all larval instars and throughout the whole plant. On leaves, the larvae feed on the mesophyll tissue, forming irregular leaf mines, which may later become necrotic. Larvae can form extensive galleries in the stems, which affect the development of the plant. Fruit are also attacked by the larvae, and the entryways are used by the secondary pathogens, leading to the fruit rotting in entirely. The extent of infestation is partially dependent on the variety because some tend to have some tolerance. Early application of insecticides such as Tihan, Emalon, Escort, Amigard, this one tends to help prevent and control tuta absoluta. Whiteflies. These are found mostly on the undersides of the leaf. They fly readily when plants are disturbed. They cause damage to leaves by feeding, which causes the leaves to yellow and curl, and by the production of honeydew, which causes leaves to appear shiny or blackened. That is from a soot mold growing on the honeydew. Now, feeding by the whiteflies is especially damaging because it also causes fruit to ripen unevenly. In recent years, the greenhouse whitefly has been found to be the vector of tomato infectious chlorosis virus. Now, this is a virus capable of causing heavy losses in the production of fresh market and also greenhouse tomatoes. To control them, apply Oberon Speed and or you alternate it with Profile, early from 30 days from transplanting to control it. We have aphids. Aphid infestation may result in wilting, but this damage is usually not of great concern unless the crop is water stressed. Research tends to indicate that early season infestation may delay maturity, but usually do not result in yield losses unless other factors are also present to enhance the whole part of the injury. Yes, it can be controlled using insecticides such as Oberon Speed or the Profile. The other one is thrips. Now, the primary damage caused by thrips to tomatoes is the vectoring of tomato spotted wilt virus. The virus can only be acquired by the immature stage of thrips, whereas plant-to-plant transmission primarily occurs by adults. High numbers of thrips can cause damage with their feeding, which distorts plant growth, deform flowers, and also causes white to silver patches on emerging leaves that often have tiny black fecal specks in them. Both aphids and thrips can be controlled by Profile and Oberon insecticide. The farm should always remain clean of weeds, as they also tend to bring some competition for nutrients and also harbor pests that will destroy the primary crop of tomatoes. The majority of these hybrid tomato varieties require staking as they grow to support the crop against breakages and enhance high yield. Now, depending on weather and crop management, most varieties mature in 75 to 90 days with long harvesting period of 2 to 3 months. The good thing is that all the seeds that we've talked about, the chemicals, they are all available in our farm shop, and you can order them through the link below. And we do delivery countrywide. With that said, my great hope is that you have mastered the science of tomato farming and you've known why some make money and others don't. If you are interested in a PDF version of this guide, well, comment guide on the comment section and I will send it to you. Thank you, and let me see you on our next video where we have the complete outline of the activities. That is what happens from day 1, 2, 3 in a very compressed manner that you can implement in your farm. Thank you for watching, and kindly don't leave without subscribing, and also don't forget to like and share this with Other farmers usually say that this is the only way that it can help us reach and empower as many farmers as possible. With that said, let me see you then.